Hello everyone. Today you will be working on CKLA Skills Unit 2, Lesson 1. In today's lesson, you will read and write the long vowel sound E, spelled with the vowel digraph EE. You will also read and understand decodable text. This spelling card has the letter A outlined in green. This tells us that A is spelled with the letter A in written words. Look at the power bar here. The power bar shows me that this is a common way to write the A sound. So if I were trying to spell and write a word with the A sound, like the word flat, clap, or snap, it would be spelled with the letter A. In fact, this is the only way to spell A. This spelling card has the letter E outlined in green. This tells us that is spelled with the letter E in written words. Look at the power bar. The power bar shows me that this is a common way to write the sound. So if I were trying to spell and write a word with the sound, like in pet, I would spell it with the letter E. This spelling card has the letter I outlined in green. This tells us that I is spelled with the letter I in written words. Take a look at the power bar. The power bar shows me that this is a common way to write the I sound. So if I were trying to spell and write a word with the I sound, like in the word it, I would spell it with the letter I. This spelling card has the letter O outlined in green. This tells us that is spelled with the letter O in written words. Look at the power bar. This power bar shows me that this is a common way to write the sound. So if I were trying to spell and write a word with the sound, like in the word hop, I would spell it with the letter O. This spelling card has the letter U outlined in green. This tells us that is spelled with the letter U in written words. Take a look at the power bar. The power bar shows me that this is a common way to write the sound. So if I were trying to spell and write the word with the sound, like in the word but, I would spell it with the letter U. So we are going to learn a new sound today. Today's sound is E as in feet. Repeat after me. E, E, E. I'm going to say some words that have the E sound at the beginning of the word. Repeat the words after me. Eat, each, east, eagle. These next words have the E sound in the middle of the word. Repeat after me. Peace, greet, meet, heat. These next words have the E sound at the end of the word. Repeat after me. Be, me, key, tree. Do you think the E sound is a vowel sound or a consonant sound? The E sound is a vowel sound. It's made with an open mouth and the air is flowing. Now I'm going to say some more words. Some of the words I will say have the E sound as their middle sound, and some will not. I want you to close your eyes and listen carefully. Raise your hand when you hear a word that has the E sound as its middle sound. Let's begin. Cheek, Raise your hand. It has the E sound as the middle sound. Cheap. You should have raised your hand because cheap has the E sound as its middle sound. Bed. Bed does not have the E sound as its middle sound. Meat. Meat has the E sound as its middle sound. Pen. Pen does not have the E sound as its middle sound. Deep. Deep has the E sound as its middle sound. Bean. Bean has the E sound as its middle sound. Hen. Hen does not have the E sound as its middle sound. Did you get them all correct? Keep practicing that E sound within words. Now I'm going to show you how to write the E sound. When you write the E sound, you start with one E. At the dotted line, you go out, up, and over and down at the bottom line. Then you write one other E right next to it. Then you do a finger space and you write one more. And another finger space. E, just like that. The two letters work together to stand for the E sound. Let's read the word on the spelling card together. B. Take a look at the power bar. This is a mid-length power bar, and it means that the E sound is sometimes spelled this way, but not always. Repeat the E sound after me. E, E, E. Whenever you see the spelling EE on a worksheet or in a story for the next few lessons, it will be printed in darker, bolder ink to remind you that the two letters stand for one single sound. This is a vowel digraph. When you are reading and you see EE, remember that EE says E. We have now moved on to Unit 2. So you need to make sure that you have your Unit 2 workbook from now on. Make sure that it says Unit 2 at the top, as these workbooks look just alike except for the title. Please use this workbook for our activities from now on. You will not need your Unit 1 workbook unless you have missed assignments. Please put it in a safe place because you may need it later. Now that you have your Unit 2 Skills Workbook, please open it to Worksheet 1.1. That's 1.1 in the upper right-hand corner. This is found on page 1 in the bottom right corner. Remember to put your name on your paper. If you need to pause this video for more time, please do so and press play when you're ready. I'm going to show you how to write the E sound. Remember, EE says E. Let's say the words together. First, we have EE, and EE says E. Very good. Remember to write the words, the sound, all the way to the end of the line. Pay attention because there are two lines that you need to write. Don't forget to put a finger space in between each letter sound. The next word is B. Say B. Put a finger space in between each word. Be sure to go all the way to the end of the lines. The next word is seen and feet. Please make sure you trace and copy the spellings in your workbook and say the sounds of each letter as you write. Now that we have the first side done, turn to the back of your worksheet. Let's go ahead and read the words in the box. Repeat after me. Queen, sheep, 3, sweets, deer, teeth. Now let's name the pictures. Deer, teeth, 3, sheep, queen, sweets. For this activity, you will need to read the words and write each word under its matching picture. Let's do the first one together. This is a picture of a deer. You will need to find the matching word, deer. Write it in the blank under the picture, just like that, and then cross off the word that you used. Make sure you use your neatest handwriting. Today, you will hear a story from our new reader as I read aloud. Look at the cover. What is the title of this new reader? The title is Gran. What do you think the name Gran is short for? This book has 3 main characters, or people in a story. Their names are Gran and her grandchildren, Josh and Jen. We will learn that Gran is very adventurous. That means she likes to try new things. Let's take a look at the table of contents. The first story, the one we will read today, is called Gran's Trips, right here. The story's title often provides a clue as to what the story is about. What do you think this story might be about? Take a look at this symbol you see in here in red. It's right there. This symbol is a punctuation mark that looks like a comma up in the air. It is called an apostrophe. Say apostrophe. It tells us that the next word after Gran trips belongs to Gran. Take a look at these phrases. Nat's cat. Look at the apostrophe after the word Nat. What does Nat have? Nat has a cat. Let's read this one. Beth's mom. What does Beth have? A mom. Let's preview our story. You will learn that Gran has traveled to many places, including the Swiss Alps and Hong Kong. There are very high mountains covered in snow in the Swiss Alps. What do you think someone visiting there might do? This is Hong Kong. It's right here on the map. What might someone do in a big city full of people like Hong Kong? Gran also visits a gulf. Say gulf. A gulf is a part of the ocean where the water is generally warm. This is the Gulf of Mexico. What might a person visiting a gulf might do? Let's quickly review the following spellings and tricky words before reading today's story. You'll see EE, that stands for the sound E, with the words see, make sure you're repeating after me, street, 3, steep, eel, feed. You will see the spelling ng for the ng sound. Remember that one? Repeat after me. Sing, wing, Hong Kong. You also see several tricky words in this story. There's a lot of them. Repeat after me. Says, when, here, which, was, one, where, there, were, what, from. We will see lots of vocabulary in today's story. The first vocabulary word is shrugs. Say shrugs. Shrugs means that someone raises the shoulders up to show that they don't know or they don't care about something, just like the picture you see here. The second vocabulary word is steep. Say steep. A steep is a sharp slope, just like you see in this picture here. The car is going up a steep hill. The next word is cliff. A cliff is a steep, high surface of rock or ice, or the edge of a mountain, like you see here. The next word is slick. Slick means slippery. This is a slippery when wet sign. The next word is cling. Cling means to hold on tightly. She sure does look like she's holding on pretty tight. The next word is gulf. And as we talked about before, a gulf is a part of the ocean that is enclosed by land on several sides, just like you see here in the Gulf of Mexico. The last word is eel. An eel is a type of fish with a body like a snake, just like you see here. Now that we know our vocabulary, let's move on. I want you to listen to the story today to find out what types of adventures Gran had in the Swiss Alps, Hong Kong, and the Gulf. In the story, the tricky parts of the words are underlined to help us remember to be careful. Words with the new spelling EE are in bold print. We will read the story through once without interruption. I will point to the words as I read them. Gran's trips. When will Gran get here? Josh asks. Jen shrugs. Just then, Josh and Jen see a cab on the street. Gran is here, Jen yells. When Gran steps from the cab, Josh and Jen run up to get a hug. Was the trip fun? Josh asks. Which one? Gran asks. I went on 3 trips. Where to? Asks Josh. One was to the Swiss Alps, says Gran. In the Alps, there were steep cliffs. I went up to the top of one cliff, but it was slick. I fell and had to cling to the rocks. No, says Jen. Yes, says Gran. Here is a snapshot. What was the next trip? Josh asks. I went to Hong Kong, says Gran. What is in Hong Kong? Lots of stuff, says Gran. In Hong Kong, I met a man who sings and has wings on his back. No, says Josh. Yes, says Gran. Here is a snapshot. What was the last trip? Asks Jen. I went to the Gulf to swim with the eels and feed the fish, says Gran. No, says Jen. Yes, says Gran. Here is a snapshot. Which trip was the best? Josh asks. This one, Gran says. The one where I get to see Josh and Jen. Now I will reread the story. This time I will stop and ask questions about the story. Gran's trips. When will Gran get here? Josh asks. Jen shrugs. Just then, Josh and Jen see a cab on the street. Gran is here, Jen yells. When Gran steps from the cab, Josh and Jen run up to get a hug. Show me what it means to shrug. Here you can see the EE and C in street is bold. Do you see C is bold and street is bold? We need to make sure we are saying the correct sound in these words. Let's look at this. What do we call this? This is an exclamation point. What does it tell the reader to do? It tells the reader to read with excitement. Let's keep reading. Was the trip fun? Josh asks. Which one? Gran asks. I went on 3 trips. Where to? Asks Josh. One was to the Swiss Alps, says Gran. In the Alps, there were steep cliffs. I went up to the top of one cliff, but it was slick. I fell and had to cling to the rocks. No, says Jen. Yes, says Gran. Here is a snapshot. Now, let's look. The Swiss Alps are part of a group of mountains in Switzerland. Switzerland is a country in Europe. The mountains are very tall and steep, just like we see Gran say here. There were steep cliffs. Show me with your arms what it looks like if something is steep. Let's look at this sentence. Here is a snapshot. Look at the snapshot you see of Gran. In this snapshot or picture, Gran is mountain climbing. This is a sport people do for fun. Have you ever been mountain climbing? Remember, Graham is in the Swiss Alps. Let's keep reading. What was the next trip? Josh asks. I went to Hong Kong, says Gran. What is in Hong Kong? Lots of stuff, says Gran. In Hong Kong, I met a man who sings and has wings on his back. No, says Josh. Yes, says Gran. Here is a snapshot. Let's look at this word, Hong Kong. Remember that Hong Kong is a very large city on the continent of Asia. Many people live there. Let's look at this sentence. Here is a snapshot. Look at the snapshot. This snapshot has the man with wings on his back. He is an opera singer. Opera is a musical show that is performed in a theater. The actors and actresses sing songs to tell a story of the show. Let's keep reading. What was the last trip? Asks Jen. I went to the Gulf to swim with the eels and feed the fish, says Gran. No, says Jen. Yes, says Gran. Here is a snapshot. Which trip was the best? Josh asks. This one, Gran says. The one where I get to see Josh and Jen. Take a look at this sentence. I went to the Gulf to swim with the eels and feed the fish, says Gran. Can you tell me two words in this sentence that have the E spelling for the long E sound? Take a look at this sentence. Here is a snapshot. Look at the snapshot of Gran. Gran is scuba diving. Scuba diving is when a person can swim underwater like a fish by breathing oxygen through a mouthpiece and wearing a face mask to protect the eyes and keep water from getting up the nose. Look at this part of the story. See Josh and Jen. How do you think Josh and Jen feel about what Gran said? What makes you think that? Now let's wrap this story up. I am going to now show you the whole story without the pictures. I'm also going to ask you some questions. I would like you to find, point to, and read the text that tells you the answers to the questions. Remember to answer questions in complete sentences by restating part of the question in your answer. Here's your story. Get ready for your question. If you need to pause the video so you can have more time to answer, please do so and press play when you're ready. Who are the main characters of this story? Number 2, what are Josh and Jen doing at the very beginning of the story? Number 3, where did Gran go before she came to see Josh and Jen? Number 4, what did Gran do in the Swiss Alps? Number 5, who did Gran meet in Hong Kong? Number 6, what did Gran do when she visited the Gulf? I am going to say some words. Give a thumbs up if you think the word describes Gran, or a thumbs down if you think the word does not describe Gran. Let's begin. Lazy. Lazy does not describe Gran. Adventurous. Adventurous describes Gran. Fun. Fun describes Gran. Shy. Shy does not describe Gran. Now open your skills workbook again to pages 1.2 on page 3. The worksheet has questions about the story Gran's Trips. Answer the questions, writing complete sentences restating part of the question in your answer. Let's go over it. On pages 3 and 4, that's workbook page 1.2, page 3, on the back is page 4. Don't forget to write your name on this page. Let's go over the questions. Number 1, where did Gran meet a man with wings on his back? Remember to answer in complete sentences, not just one word. Restate part of the question in your answer. Number 2, what did Gran do at the Gulf? Number 3, which trip was Gran's best trip? Remember to answer in complete sentences. And number 4, Gran gets to Josh and Jen on a shop, in a cab, in a truck. How does Gran get to Josh and Jen? Do your best work and use your neatest handwriting. Don't forget to write your answer in complete sentences. Do not just answer with one word. If you would like extra practice, you can use page 1.3 so that you can practice reading and writing phrases with the family member. Remember, you do not need to turn this worksheet in. Now let's go over the work that you will submit pictures of today. You have 4 worksheets that you need to submit pictures of. The first one is writing the spellings, which is worksheet 1.1, the front, and then word box, which is worksheet 1.1, the back. Then you will submit your story questions for Gran's trips, worksheet 1.2, the front and the back. Please submit a clear photo of these completed worksheets in the assignments link on Canvas. I hope to see your awesome work. Goodbye.